If you know nothing about me yet, then you probably haven't figured out that I'm all about bread. It's true, I'm all about bread, I absolutely love it. I love making bread, I love sweet breads, I love savory breads, I love sourdough breads, you name it. And one of the breads that I absolutely love is pita bread. It's kind of dense, it's chewy, it's amazing, and it holds the absolute best consistency for those beautiful savory hero sandwiches, those Greek wraps that we love so much. Makes a perfect accompaniment to hummus. I mean, the list goes on and on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make pita bread at home, super simple, and it's going to be so much better than anything that you can buy in the store. Those dry, little, thin, little pockets of pita, you're never, ever, ever going to get those again. Try this out. Here we go. I have a cup of warm water going into a large mixing bowl right here. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of yeast. There we are. And half a teaspoon of sugar, but I'm going to put honey instead of sugar because honey is also very Mediterranean. You can, so is sugar, but this is a little bit more natural. And if you have the opportunity to use natural sugars, I highly, highly encourage it. There we go, about half a teaspoon of honey. And this is very local and so very delicious. All right, so I can see it starting to foam up a little bit here. I'm going to use a fork to mix it quite a bit and really get that sugar and yeast together because it feeds the yeast and activates it and makes it foamy and bubbly. Water's still nice and warm. I'm going to add half a cup of flour. All right, and I'm going to whisk this together with my fork. And this is going to give us like our starter dough for our pita. All right, now that it's all mixed up, it looks kind of milk that's been kissed with coffee. It's a really pretty beige color. I'm going to cover this up with saran wrap and let it rise in a warm spot for about 15 minutes until it gets like really foamy and spongy. Here we are 15 minutes later, and you can see this is really thick and bubbly. I mean, this is a really pretty smooth and silky sponge to start working with for our pita. I'm going to uncover it here, but save this because you're going to need it again. There we go. So check this out. Just listening to it, you can hear it still foaming. It's awesome. All right, into our sponge, I want 2 cups of flour, which I'm going to grab from the bin here. 2 cups of flour, and I'm going to keep more flour on the side, about half a cup for dusting. I want 2 teaspoons of salt, be generous, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Beautiful. Okay, now we're simply going to mix this together and knead it until it simply comes together. Okay, now that the dough has come together and is pretty much cleaned up off of the sides of the bowl, I want to just make sure that I get everything off of the bowl as much as possible, set it aside, and generously dust my countertop here, my work surface. So I'm going to sprinkle just enough flour on top of it to where it comes together cohesively and makes a beautiful, smooth ball of dough. Okay, so now that the dough has come together in a beautiful, solid ball, I'm going to squirt some olive oil into my bowl right here. I'm going to get my pita dough and put it right there in the bowl, give it a twist, flip it upside down, turn it a little bit more, and that piece of cling wrap that we saved earlier goes right on top. And this guy gets set to rest and rise for about an hour. Set your timer for about 30 to 45 minutes into the proofing stage, so that way you can preheat your oven to 475 degrees. Put a cast iron skillet or a pizza stone if you have one into the oven, and we're going to be set to make some pita. So here we are an hour later, and look at this puffy pita bread dough. I mean, this is pretty amazing stuff. My oven is already set to 475 degrees, and I'm ready to start rolling out and baking some fresh pita. All right, I've got my rolling pin ready. I've got some flour on standby, a knife so I can divide the dough. And most importantly, I have a plate right here, a glass plate, with a towel on top of it that I've got folded over. So as the pita bakes, whenever it's ready to come out of the oven, I just put it on the plate and cover it with the top part of the towel. So it's much easier. Things run much more efficiently when you have everything you need on standby. All right, I'm gonna get some flour on my work surface here, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn out my dough. Just like that. Okay, set that aside. There we go. So I just want to deflate it a little bit. And it's kind of oily because remember we coated it by rolling it in the bowl once we had put all of that olive oil in there, but that's fine, no worries. Okay, have a nice ball here. Okay, I'm going to divide it up. Okay. So I can get 8 pieces out of this, but I don't want super huge pita bread, and if you want bigger loaves, that's fine, that's no problem. It's totally your preference, whatever you want. So I'm going to divide these in half again so I can get 16 really awesome pita pocket loaves. And as you divide them up, roll them into balls, just like this, and set them aside until you're ready to roll them flat. I have 16 balls of dough, and I'm gonna start rolling them out. And they don't have to be super flat like tortillas or anything like that, but just, you know, a nice big circle. Flour your rolling pin really well, flour your work surface really well, and just start going for it. All right, I've got one rolled out, nice and flat right here, beautiful little pita. And I have a pizza stone in the oven that's hot, really super hot, that I'm gonna bake these on. And my stone is large enough to where I can fit 4 pita on there and bake them. And it goes really super fast. I mean, the pita only takes about 3 or 4 minutes total to bake. So you're gonna go with 1 or 2 minutes on the first side and about 2 minutes on the second side, and it's done. I mean, it's that simple. So if you don't have a pizza stone, you can use a cast iron skillet like I mentioned before. Just get it really super hot. It's really super easy, so simple. I mean, the dough itself is easy to make, and it's easier to bake, and we all know it's super easy to eat, so go for it. Okay, so here I've got 4 loaves of pita ready to go into the oven. All right, got my tongs ready for flipping, and I'm going to just go ahead and pull out my rack and just set them. All right, let that bake for 1.5 minutes, and then we're gonna flip them over and hit it for 2 minutes on the other side. All right, the timer just went off. Now we need to flip them and cook them for 2 more minutes. 2 minutes later, and here we go. Got my plate ready, and I'm just gonna slide these guys right off. Look at those. So puffy. Amazing. All right, we're gonna finish up all the rest of them, and then we're gonna have a pita party. The last of the pita is finally ready to come out of the oven. Here we go. All right, super hot. Oh, 475 degrees will get you. Okay, got my plate all ready. Yep, and there. Perfect. Look at that big old plate of pita. Oh my God. It smells so amazing. It really does. And I cannot wait to break into one of these things. Okay, push this back in. There you go. Kill the heat because we're done with that for now. So let's take a look and see at one of the cooler ones. Yeah, this is a good one. Look at this. Fresh homemade pita bread. Now you can't tell me that you can find something this thick in the grocery store. Packaged up, prepackaged, there's no way. Look at how easily and beautifully it tears. Look at the pocket. See that? Look at this. It's so tender and so light. I mean, it's so easy to make. It doesn't really take any time at all. Why wouldn't you? Oh my goodness. A little bit of fresh hummus. Little tzatziki sauce. It's my favorite. You know what? A little bit of ham and it's a perfect little sandwich. This is a win. It's a huge win. Pita bread for the win. Kitchen Bravo away. Guys, look at that. Awesome.